All right, so phase 2 of strawberry staff training. Today we're going to be going over the wines, going through where each one is from, correct pronunciations, and then a little something about what makes the wine cool. So starting with the sparkling wine section, we're going to do the Mio Netto Prosecco. The style is Spumante Brut. Spumante just means it has bubbles, Brut means that it's dry. Prosecco generally comes from northern Italy. This one is from a region called Valdobbiadene. Very popular and trendy now. People are drinking it straight or with a splash of Aperol or a splash of Campari, which are both Italian bitters. So it makes the drink
It's Italian what?
Bitter. So they use it as a digestif, Aperol and Campari. Everyone's familiar with Campari. It's that red bitter liqueur. The cool thing about Aperol is it's made with blood oranges, so it tends to be a little bit sweeter than Campari is bitter. So one of the nice little cocktails that people are doing in Manhattan and all around are called an Aperol Spritz, which is with the Prosecco and the Aperol. You currently offer the Mio Netto in 2 sizes, in the individual serving, which is a 187 milliliter, or for American standard 6 ounces, or you also have it by the bottle.
And this is a dry sweet wine?
This is a dry sparkling wine.
Dry sparkling.
So, Prosecco Brut Spumante.
And usually you drink this with?
Food pairings, I would pair it with almost anything except for a red meat. Perfect to start a meal, do a toast. Any of the appetizers on the menu would be perfect with. Perfect pairing for all types of seafood, even full body seafood.
So this is a white?
Fish. This is white, or it's more of a tannish yellow color.
Okay.
And there's about 1 million bubbles in every bottle of it, of sparkling wine.
Okay. So it's dry and sparkling, a little sweet, you said, right?
Yeah,
As well?
light and fruity. I wouldn't call it sweet.
And more like a fish, chicken,
Yeah.
not a red meat.
Yeah, I would stay away
Fish.
from red meats, but anything else would be perfect. Appetizers, cheese, fish, perfect. And
Okay. The Mom Napa Brut Prestige.
cool thing about them is GH Mumm is a big-time champagne producer. So they invested most of the money that they made there into a Napa Valley facility right on the Silverado Trail, and that's why it's Mumm Napa. We don't call it a champagne because it's not grown in the Champagne region, but it is still done in the Brut style, so it's very dry, and this is their prestige cuvee, or their house style of sparkling wine. So Napa Valley, premier property, real modern, where the GH Mumm in Champagne is a bit more classical.
Okay, so this is a white, sparkling.
Yeah, made from 100% Chardonnay grapes, or not 100%, probably 80% and 20% Pinot Noir, but grown in Napa Valley, one of the most prestigious areas in California.
Okay, and similar, would this be similar to?
I would call it an upscale Corbel. Corbel is a brand most people are familiar with. This is just done in a much nicer, more handcrafted style.
And this would be similar, fish, chicken, not red, or?
Yeah, I would fish, chicken. I would stay away from red meats on all sparkling wines.
Okay, so stay away from red meats on sparklings.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then Perrier Jouet. There should be a little semicolon above the E. That way in France you know to pronounce the T. So a lot of people call it Perrier Jouet. It is Perrier Jouet. This is their Grand Brut style, so it is their dry, again, cuvee house style. When we say cuvee, it just means the house blend. Champagne producers try and keep things very consistent year to year. That's what makes them so special. So whenever you see cuvee or house style, it's always their house blend and their general offering.
Okay, and
that's from the area of Champagne, so it is traditional Champagne, very perfumey, and just a nice dry sparkling wine.
okay.
The next one is, again, Perrier Jouet. This is their floor bottle. Very pretty bottle. People want to be seen drinking this. It's got a beautiful woman and flowers on the bottle. Again, it's done in the Brut style, so it's very dry, but much more concentrated and perfumey. So this is what you see a lot of the celebrities drinking at the Grammys and so forth and so on.
And this is this PJ Floor?
Yeah, this is, PJ stands for Perrier Jouet, and then the floor is to signify that it's their flower bottle and their premier cuvee. So
okay.
the nicest of the Brut style that the house makes.
And let me ask you, serving something like this with strawberries? Is strawberries typically
Yeah,
with the
strawberries,
champagne?
chocolate, caviar, any of those things work.
Okay. Sounds good.
So moving away from sparkling wines, we're going to go right into dry fermented white wines. So starting on the list, another cool thing about the way your list is laid out is all the bottled wines are listed from lightest bodied to fuller bodied. So you're going to start off with Pinot Grigios and Sauvignon Blancs and some French Chardonnays, and then we're going to move into more full-bodied stuff like Fumé Blancs and Chardonnays and Rieslings.
Okay.
So the first one, the lightest style of a white wine, Pinot Grigio. Very light and crisp. Borgo Conventi is grown in the area of Collio. Collio is on the Slovenian border of Friuli in the northeast of Italy, and it's actually owned by Ruffino. So Ruffino is one of the biggest Tuscan producers. This is their only venture up into the area of Collio. So as we go on, we're going to talk about regions and so forth and so on. In the first training, we delved into how a wine tends to be a little bit more concentrated and better the more specific a region is. So just like if we said we lived on Long Island, that's not very specific. Suffolk County, a little bit more specific. Huntington, more. And then Huntington Village would be even more specific, more concentrated. Think of it that way. So that's your Borgo Conventi by Ruffino.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. Do we have descriptions particularly on each one that will, give the specific region and, that we have a lot of different wines here. So, let's just say, I was going and speaking about one that I have a reference that I could go to.
Yeah, I could print up all the regions. That's not a problem. I think Chris has an old copy of the descriptions. If not, I know we have it on file with my company.
Okay.
One of the reasons why we don't put the descriptions or the regions on here were just because the size constraints of the wine list. In the future, they might be added on as we get more of a book style of beverage program.
Okay.
So moving on to the next Pinot Grigio.
And actually, hold on one second.
So moving on to the next Pinot Grigio, a little bit more full-bodied, full-bodied in the sense of creaminess. It's the Yermann Pinot Grigio. Yermann, one of the big things, he was an Alsatian winemaker, moved into the area of Friuli. So he grows grapes in all of Friuli, not just Collio, and really is one of the nicer Pinot Grigios. If anyone's asking for a Santa Margherita or one of those big names, if you turn them on to the Yermann Pinot Grigio, they'll certainly be much happier, much more handcrafted, and a much nicer Pinot Grigio than all the other ones on the market.
Okay. So you think your main Pinot Grigio, if somebody's a real Pinot Grigio drinker, that's
Yeah. One of the most widely asked for Pinot Grigios is the Santa Margherita.
Yeah.
So this is your competitor to that. And you can definitely feel confident recommending this over Santa Margherita, even for the most stubborn guests.
Okay.
Folia du Chardonnay, probably the lightest of all the Chardonnays on the list, and go through a tremendous amount of oak aging and fermentation. Slightly creamy, but nice and light. Folia du means dances with two, and it is a California appellation. So it's made by the Trinchero family, and they source grapes from all their property throughout California.
Okay, and what would you, as far as a pairing?
As far as a pairing, you can go full-bodied seafood to light-bodied seafood. Chicken would, pork would work very well if it had some kind of spice to it. But again, I would kind of stay away from red meats unless they're done with some kind of bechamel cream sauce or something along those lines to lighten up the meat.
Okay.
Vincent Giardin, Cuvée Saint Vincent, is a Bourguignon, which is 100% Chardonnay grapes. In Burgundy, they grow two grapes, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. In this case, this is the white, the Chardonnay. French Chardonnays tend to be a lot leaner and more have a little bit more minerality. Vincent Giardin is one of the premier producers in Burgundy, and this is one of your French classical wines that need to be on the list. Definitely feel confident recommending to anyone. At $45, it'll definitely be a bottle that blows your mind.
Okay.
Last Chardonnay listed on there is Ferrari Carano. Again, it's